Fine, no.
Okay. Welcome back to the From the Fabricator podcast. My name is Max Perlstein. I'm your host, and thrilled to have you with us. Is this your first time listening? Thank you. Recurring listener, thank you. Really appreciate it. We've got something going here that I'm really proud of. Power-packed episode this time out. Lots of stuff going on. We got certification talk. We've got Glass Symposium talk. We've got glass and aluminum storefront curtain wall talk. We got a lot of good stuff here with great guests. I've got Scott Kennett from AMS, Nicolas Esquivel from CDC, Pat O'Connor from the Glass and Metal Alliance, Glass Symposium, Abbie Legara from Aluminum and Glazing Lines. You take it up in small bites if you want. Really good people, really interesting stuff, and I'm very excited about that. Also excited about GFAB, the Glass Fabrication Conference. It's coming to Chicago in June. If you are a fabricator, glass fabricator, this one is for you. Check it out at glass.org. It is definitely one that you do not want to miss. And last but absolutely not least, this episode is brought to you by the fantastic people at FHC, Frameless Hardware Company. They've got a lot going on, folks. New facilities like the new one in New Jersey, new products like Paul Daniels talked about recently on this podcast. And if you see them online all the time, lots of new products coming out from FHC. They are just going and growing, folks. So there's no doubt. Go check them out, fhc-usa.com. Thank you so much to them for their continuing support. It means a ton. All right, let's get into the podcast, the interviews. We'll start with we'll start with Scott and Nicolas, and we'll end with Abbie, with Pat in the middle, and I'll catch you on the other side. Okay. Welcome back to the podcast. I am thrilled. I've got two guys with me that are really gonna, I think, open up some eyes, and I'm excited about it. I got Scott Kennett, Program Manager, NACC, AGMT, and that's part of the Administrative Management Systems, that website, glazingcertification.com. You'll hear me say that more than a few times. And then I have Nicolas Esquivel, or Esquivel. Sorry, he gave me the
you got it right the first time.
All good. Esquivel. So okay. Well, people who watch and listen to this podcast know I always screw it up, but I'm gonna get it better. He's a senior associate, senior consultant, field services manager, curtain wall design and consulting. You all know them as CDC. Website cdc-usa.com. Guys, thank you so much for doing the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you
Awesome.
for having us.
Well, I always start off every podcast with basically the origin story, where you're born, grew up, went to school, to your path to today. So Nicolas, we'll start with you and, take me through the journey from, where you began to now.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. My story begins in a little town in central Mexico where I was actually born in Aguascalientes, then grew up my entire life through high school in Zacatecas. That's a little further north, not too far from where I was born. Went to college in Monterrey Tech.
Okay.
Graduated with a degree in architecture back in 1997.
Okay.
CDC hired me a couple of years after that. I came to Dallas, the main office here in Dallas, in April 1999. So it'll be 28 years this month.
Wonderful.
And ever since I've been here, started on what we call the production side, working for contractors, developing shop drawings, fabrication tickets, collaborating with engineering, and developing the calculations for the specific systems, anywhere from curtain walls to prefabricated brick and stone truss systems. So the whole assembly on exterior scheme buildings, and then moved to consulting, which is what I've been for the last 18 years.
Okay.
And working directly with developers, architects, insurance companies, and all those type of clients.
Awesome. And so backing up, being in Monterey, any connection to Vitro since their headquarters there? Did they try to pull you in? I mean, you got a lot of talent.
Back then, I had no idea that I would end up doing what I'm doing. Graduating from architectural school, my only claim to connect to any sort of connection with Vitro is that back then, and I'm talking 96, 97, there was this one classroom that Vitro sponsored in our architectural school. That was it. That was the Vitro room. I can't remember what the actual name was, but beyond that, I did visit the facilities maybe once or twice during my college days, but that's it.
Okay. Okay. Very, very rare I run into somebody who has
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Monterey connection that isn't, involved in the vitro universe. So
Yep.
it's pretty
Yeah.
darn
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I don't know how you can top that, Scott, but let's give it a shot because I know you have an interesting past.
Yeah.
I've been told your
Yeah.
past is pretty interesting, and you and I have become friends, but I have not asked you about like where you came from. And I've kind of been
Right.
saving it for today. Scott, take us through your past.
Yeah. So I was born in Iowa, but my dad was originally from New Zealand. And so from age 2 to 7, we relocated and lived where he grew up in Kaiapoi, New Zealand, just outside of Christchurch. But then my mom's parents wanted to retire off the family farm, and we came back to Iowa. And so grew up in Grinnell, Iowa, corn and soybean farm. Went through high school there, and I really felt compelled to serve our country, and so I pursued West Point through high school, and ultimately received a nomination from both senators and our congressman. Ended up in class of 2011, graduated in 2011, and then served with the 10th Mountain Division up here at Fort Drum, New York, and that's how I ended up here in Sackett's Harbor. But I was an infantry officer with the 1st Battalion, 32nd Infantry Regiment, deployed twice to Afghanistan as a platoon leader both times. And then after my first deployment, I met my wife, Carrie, and she was from the area. And so when I made the decision to leave the Army in September 2016, we stayed local here. I went to Syracuse University to get my MBA,
Okay.
and then shortly after that started working for Anheuser-Busch. So it was
Uh,
school full time, working full time. Anheuser-Busch has incredibly impressive brewing and packaging operations there in Baldwinsville, New York, just outside of Syracuse. And so did that for 4 years. Really enjoyed it, learned a lot about quality. But ultimately, uh, needed to make a change. The schedule was pretty intense, commuting an hour and 15 minutes one way
yeah.
through, if you're at all familiar with northern New York, lake effect snow
Yep.
and everything else that goes along with it. So made the change. Luck and timing. A professor at West Point once told me your life will, luck and timing is going to have a lot to do with where you go and what you do.
Yep.
And the opportunity to come to work for John Kent and Terry Schaefer uh, was presented, and you know haven't looked back since.
Nice.
Here at Administrative Management Systems, or AMS, we've got a great team, and now I'm only 5 minutes from the office versus the hour and 15, and so not a glass or glazing industry guy, but that's a big part in what we'll hopefully talk about here with certification and the need for third-party,
Mhm.
independent, neutral folks that are here to do the right thing and serve those that are a part of these different certification programs.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, first and foremost, thank you for your service. It is
Yep.
Agree.
Of
very much
course.
Thank you for your
appreciated.
service, Scott.
And do you remember what your record was against Navy in your 4 years?
Ah, we were 0 and 4. I was part of the terrible the fifth 0 and 15 stretch there from 01 to, oh, was it 2016? But yeah, go Army, beat Navy all day.
There you go. If it
Day.
makes you feel any better, my college only won 4 games in my 4 years. So
Yeah.
I know bad football when I see it, but I
Yeah.
like how you remembered that, and that's very cool. So
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. We'll continue on. And Nicholas, for those who don't know CDC, and there may be some that don't know, I'd be real surprised. But take us through, a little pitch on what does CDC do and where you guys reach.
Yep. Thank you. You're absolutely right. I mean, the first thing that people think when they hear curtain wall design, they think about something on the like covers or blinds or something like that. But it's like I said earlier when I was talking about what I've been doing since I joined CDC. We provide support for two markets, if you will, or two sides of this industry. One is the fabricator, the installer, the individual that is taking the construction documents, um, converting that into an actual system that can be fabricated and then installed in the building. The team that services that market is either engineers, architects, draftsmen, draftswomen, and a lot of people that have the experience and they can put together all those documents. Then on the consulting side, which is the other segment in which I'm part of right now, our clients are the architects, the developers themselves, and a lot of times insurance companies or lawyers that are seeking professional opinion or an expert witness type services.
Sure.
In this capacity, what we do is work with the design team, or we can actually work with the design team from the early design stages in the selection of material systems, specifying those products, working through the schematic design, all the way to construction administration. So at every step throughout the construction life of the project, we provide advice, we do site visits, we do field testing on multiple fronts, not just the facade systems, but also roofing, waterproofing on the horizontal surfaces. And then the part that I love now, and I've been dedicating most of my time, is forensics.
Okay.
Sub-segment of the consulting side where we do a lot of investigation on the why the building is leaking.
Hmm.
There may be an interest in buying a property, then the client wants to make modifications to the existing scheme. They want to expand on the existing building. We work with them in developing those new transition details and how the old will meet with the new. So all those forensic and existing buildings are those that I take a lot of pride in and enjoy doing. So that the team that I lead right now is heavy on that with the investigation, testing, and developing of those modifications to existing buildings.
Very cool, very cool, and kudos, you guys doing an amazing job. That's for sure. So, legendary reputation, and obviously people like you keep it. And speaking of legendary reputations, Scott, we could talk about John Kent all day. He's a legend. Terry
Yep.
Schaefer's
Yeah.
fantastic, great human, very talented person. They're AMS. You're at AMS. Quick little rundown of AMS slash NACC AGMT. So those that don't know that setup,
Yep.
what it is.
Yeah. So AMS is the certification body for um, obviously NACC AGMT that we're here to talk about, but also it started with SGCC, safety glazing, then grew into the IGCC program, and we're also providing the auditing services for NFRC and WDMA. So very, very much so the product side was the foundation of the business here. Um, and that's where the conversation around, well, what about the installer? How do we provide that credential to the installing side? Because, the question when it first came to AMS was the problem isn't the product, it's with the installation and how can we improve quality of installation across the industry? And so certification is the bread and butter here, and we through like Jeff Dalba, John Kent, Terry, worked with industry leaders and experts to figure out what right looked like and how to take that and move that um, to be something that glazing contractors can do and can benefit from at the end of the day to be a better company, and also get this into specifications and
Yep.
put it into a way that whether it's architects, owners, general contractors, now they can identify who is the best of the best, who are the contractors out there that have a proven track record for success. And so that's where NACC really, kind of came along and what it's trying to do. I mean, companies have those processes and procedures in place. Say what you do what you say, and have the evidence to prove it. Um, and then on the AGMT side, so that next evolution, all right, we want a certified contractor, we want a qualified contractor. We also need the individual installer, the glazer, to be competent and have a way to validate their knowledge, skills, and abilities, so that at the end of the day, whether you're hiring those glazers to work for you, or you're looking to hire a company that's got a proven track record with quality people, um, you know that you're going to set yourself up to mitigate risk and have the best chance of a successful outcome on that project. Because that's, both Nicholas and I, that's what we want to see. We want to see positive outcomes for owners, architects, general contractors. We want them to think of the glass and glazing industry as their go-to when it comes to construction and their building facade.
Yeah, I believe it's crucial, and I'm behind it. Nicholas, coming from your angle, I'm curious because some people might, watch this, listen to this, and say, "Okay, we get why Scott's on. We get why he's on." But then they may look at you and say, "What's your role? Why do you care? Why do you care about certification?" Because I do think it's pretty interesting that you are in the middle of this, and big CDC's been a huge supporter from the beginning.
I was going to say that. Thank you for saying it. The fact is, CDC was one of the founding participants of this effort. Not me personally. I just recently joined as in a transition period, if you will. But the fact is that we have the industry's interest in mind, and we acknowledge that there is a need for awareness and education and the capacity and the ability of the installer themselves and the contractor, the entity behind that installer, to be better at what they do, to raise that bar. And what the program is doing, what AGMCC is doing with the two certifications, is just a great way to expose the needs at the same time that addresses the specific requirements and at least the basic requirements for each of those two certification programs. So we completely are on board, and we want to support this and provide as much uh, platforms as we are able to provide to make all those different entities and individuals that are already dealing with this aware of what this can mean to them and to their clients. And that's the key. At the end of the day, the bottom line is that client, the project, that final product that will end up being part of the curtain wall, part of the skin of the building. The quality, the workmanship, the whole um, process. It's better if there is clarity, if the expectations are laid out, and that technician that has a certification or is looking to get that certification achieves that. It definitely makes it much better for everybody throughout the process, and at the end, the client himself. So it's about awareness. It's about making sure that there are minimum requirements, because this is really what it is. This is the basic minimum standards that are meant to be the building blocks. From here, I mean, it can only get better, right? So it's awareness. Is that?
And keeping with you, Nicholas, how do we get more buy-in? I mean, you deal with people all the time, and what's interesting is you deal with owners, developers, insurance companies, as you mentioned. How do we get more buy-in from the industry to get behind something as important as this?
Well, it's that's the biggest challenge. The exposure, the opportunity to get in front of those that potential audience and explain what this is. I mean, the avenues like this podcast, I know, are a good effort, and can take us closer to those individuals. Uh, FGIA does great. I mean, the glass build, all
Hmm.
those shows where we can actually spend some time one on one with those individuals and answer questions and at least get their attention and start doing that. That's definitely helping. I think the reality is that we and I've expressed this to Scott, Terry, and Jeff in the past. Personally, I'm looking for even more engagement from entities that are currently not as involved in the participation,
Right.
but it has to be, I guess, one step at a time. Right now, and this may be too early to speak about, but Jeff and I believe Scott and Terry may be aware already. We're
Hmm.
talking about doing something locally here in Dallas in our office. Invite some of the
Hmm.
contractors that we know are here. Some of them may not even be our clients, but the intent is to provide a platform where um, Terry's, Scott, and Jeff can be here and help us spread the word,
Yeah.
make it more available. That's the key thing.
Yeah, the more that we can be pushed out there, the better. And I love that idea, and I look forward to seeing how that comes. Obviously, we got still a ton to cover, but I break up the podcast about halfway through with a fun question. With you two, it's going to be very interesting. Again, I've got Scott Kennett from NACC AGMT. You can look up and see everything that's going on there. Glazing certification. That's all one word.com. And Nicolas Esquivel, senior associate, senior consultant at CDC. That's cdc-usa.com. So for you guys, before I even knew your backgrounds, this is really interesting. What area or country in the world is your kind of dream vacation? What is your bucket list that you have to visit? It's funny, Scott, you've already done New Zealand, and
Yeah.
Nicholas, you've done Mexico, so you can cross those out. Scott, I'll start with you. Where do you and the wife want to go? What's the vacation of a dreamland?
Well, so there's many, but I think one that I'm looking forward to here in the next couple of years that's about the destination, because usually it's about getting together with family,
Yeah,
friends, and seeing, that important time together. But would love to do in the near future a road trip through the Southwest and hit the national parks, Arches, the Grand Canyon, and spend time out there. Because being up here in New York, that landscape is just so foreign to us.
yeah.
And it's just so large and vast and expansive, and those parks are incredible. I did that as a teenager with my family, and someday here soon, would love to kind of go back through and do the Four Corners and all of that out there would be wonderful.
Nice, nice, very, very cool, and that'll be a fun one. It's a good memory. Lots of great
Yeah.
pictures, that's for sure. Lots to see. Nicholas, how about you? Where in the world is your dream vacation locale?
It didn't take me long to think about this one
Hmm.
because it's fresh in my mind. The family, my son, my wife, and I, we took a trip to UK last year,
Hmm.
and putting aside the fact that I didn't quite enjoy driving on the wrong side of the road, uh, we toured all the way from the south all the way to Inverness, and the Scottish Highlands is the place
Hmm.
where I want to go back. And fun fact, all three of us said the same. So it's a win in either way. The scenery, in fact, that fake background there
Yeah.
is in an attempt at mimicking what I see when I drive through those highlands. But it's a beautiful country, and that's definitely one place that we look forward to come back to.
Awesome, awesome. Good taste on both of you. And Nicholas, I'll tell you, my bucket list includes that part of the world, mostly because from a sports angle, I want to go see Wimbledon. And I also now have gotten in the last couple of years into Wrexham, the soccer team that's in Northern
Mm.
Wales. I watch every game now. It's insane. My family thinks I'm nuts, but I'd like to get there one of those days. But good choices by both of you guys. It's very cool. All right, so back into the adventure here, Scott. I've seen you do these. You've done some
Hmm.
presentations to companies, and I've seen you in groups. You're fantastic. One of the best speakers I've seen in our industry. Talk to me
Thank
though
you.
after you're done with your piece and the reaction. Are people surprised? Are they, does it make them more interested? Or are they more blah? I mean, what's the reaction after one of your presentations and one of your
I,
pitches?
I think there's certainly misconceptions about what this is. Um, and the goal here is to help contractors. It's help the industry, help glazers, help them protect their trade. And I think it's definitely curious. You see people start to connect the dots. Hey, we had a problem like that before. Maybe there's something here that can help me, because everybody's got something different going on, whether it's scale of company or type of work they're pursuing. But, a common thing, and Ben Beeler had said this before, you know, glazing contractors are fantastic problem solvers. They know how to get the job done. They know how to work through what they do is incredibly complex, but maybe we can try to introduce some process and procedure into their environment so that they're not fighting the fires,
Yeah.
that they can get ahead of those common problems, and for them employee, um, you don't want to come to work and redo something. You don't want to
Right.
have to tear something out and replace it because a little detail got missed. And that's having that forethought to think through and set those conditions for success. That's where we're trying to help contractors go, and those that get into the program, they may get into it thinking this is a marketing opportunity or a way to differentiate ourselves. But the ones that really truly embrace what we're trying to get them to do with quality, and safety too, is they come away with this, man, this really did help us get better. We were fighting whatever X issue is, and now that's behind us, and we're moving on to things that are putting money back in our pockets.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of wish you could like give them like a viewmaster and say, look into this, and this is what will happen if you go through this.
Yeah.
But you're very assertive and convincing. We just have to reach more people, obviously. And Nicholas, from your angle, you're dealing in my whole angle is the whole building owner developer aspect. They should really, embrace a certification program like this just because it's risk and liability and so on. How's it going as you work with folks like that? And are you getting asked about certification? How do you present it to them?
Uh, right off the bat, I mean, I'll tell you our specification, the one that we provide to those architectural teams already requires it. It's part of our specification. This is something that we included early on, and every opportunity that we have, we do what we can to explain the benefit. I mean, obviously, the bottom line is the bottom line for the client, right? I mean, they're looking for benefits on that front, but the 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 the, the overall growth that those certified entities and individuals obtain and how that can translate into a better product installed, but better curtain wall that is functioning as it should. There is no question about it on our end. The challenge is to make sure that the architect, the owner, see that benefit. And we're facing I guess, very steep learning curve, I guess. And even though the program has been in place for some time, there still is lack of awareness. There still is some pushback. I know of some contractors don't see it as a benefit. So it's uh, the challenge to convey all those benefits coming through from the bottom up through the contractors is one thing, but from, like you said, the owner, the developer, the architect, those entities that not necessarily see that direct benefit, that's where we're thinking we need to make even more of a strong effort to communicate what is it that this is doing. And one of the key things that I acknowledge, and I tell them anytime I get an opportunity, is this is just the beginning. I mean, the basic information that make up this certification for the technician himself is literally just one of many different types of systems. Or there are many more complex configurations of a curtain wall that can be a challenge. But this is just a way of starting, and it does uh, provide that certainty that the technician has the ability to deal with those basic scenarios, those basic challenges as he's building this wall. So it's a it, it has a real impact. We see it, and I think one of the biggest things that a lot of our team members or consultants see every time we go to a job site is that senior guy with the glazing contractor that knows it all. He's done this for 40 years, and nobody can tell him how to do it differently than what he's been doing. So it's all good. That experience is so valuable, but the younger generations doesn't always have that benefit. I mean, and
Yeah,
there is sometimes a disconnect between that senior guy and the younger guys that just take over and start doing their own thing without really knowing what they're doing. So
sure.
it's a I keep talking about awareness. I keep talking about
Hmm.
education. That is the key thing. I mean, understanding that the ultimate goal is to achieve a product that is truly good quality, that is truly per industry standards, and that is going to last as long as it's intended to do so. So it's I guess I can simply say it's a challenging approach to convince those clients, those developers, but the awareness is key. I mean, just
Yeah. Yeah, I think awareness is big. And I also think that if you said to a developer or building owner, would you hire an architect that's not certified or licensed, an architect that
Mhm.
doesn't have his CEUs, an architect that in whatever state he's in that has to be licensed, would you hire that person? And chances are they'd say no.
Mhm.
So why is it any different with us? And it's funny. I'm always reminded that in some states, to cut hair, which is not an issue for the three of us, to cut hair, you have to have a license. And
Yeah,
so you're telling me that the barber, the hairstylist has to get a license, but the glazer and the glazing company that is putting up a
the
skyscraper,
curtain wall. Yeah.
that can deal with water and air infiltration, all these things does not. You would think that the owner and the developer would say, "Hey, no, 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 I don't want somebody uncertified on my building." Have you hit that yet, or is that still too new in this process of educating people?
I think it's happening, but it's very slow. Like I said, we've included the requirement in our specification, but
Hmm.
it doesn't always stay there. I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes the architect pushes back. Sometimes they're simply not aware and not don't understand what it means. So
yeah.
it's there's a lot of areas of opportunity on that front for sure.
For sure, for sure. Now, Scott,
Yep.
the old saying is that sales is overcoming obstacles, and so
Hmm.
maybe some of your obstacles, people either have heard about this, they don't understand it, they maybe have gone through it and didn't see the value for whatever
Hmm.
reason. How do you work in that whole angle to try to convince people to try to show them the importance of this? And what is when you get pushback, what do you do?
Yeah, it's common, and people should ask questions. I mean, we want them to challenge the way that they do business, essentially. We're not here to tell them how to run their especially if it's a bit, they've been around for 50 years, multiple generations and things. But, to Nicholas's point, as generations changing, these companies um grow and evolve. You don't want to lose the 40 years of knowledge.
Right.
You need to keep that within your organization. Owners are looking to build their company for the next generation, or maybe they're thinking grandkids, and what
Yeah.
what is what does this look like long term? Anheuser-Busch, one of their thought process is we're building a company for the next 100 years. That's where we're thinking.
Yeah.
Um, sometimes my day to day is I'm like, man, am I going to get to lunch? Am I going to, when am I going to get home? What
Yeah.
what's going on? But it's it's think getting people to think beyond just the here and now. General contractors, it's a tough sell to say you should hire the more expensive contractor. But we come back to, especially in them talking with them, hire the qualified bidder. Think of it in those terms, the
Yeah.
lowest qualified bidder, because not everyone should be doing every job,
Yeah.
and we we try to find those examples and talk through that with them. Um, in some parts of the country, there's more concentration. There's more certified contractors available. They feel like they have more choice. Other parts of the country, just it's going to take time. Jeff has always said, we're like water on a rock. We're gonna wear down, and we're gonna win eventually. Some places it's going to take a little longer to get there, but this for the companies that have been in the program that see the value. I mean, these guys are winning. We just published a case study. Shout out to Chesapeake
Yep.
Glazing.
Yep.
There's a lot of good things that can come from going through this process and having the mindset that you want to you want to focus your organization on continuous improvement and not just being satisfied with where you are.
Yeah, and you can see that case study and many others at
Hmm.
glazingcertification.com. Chesapeake Glazing one is fantastic, the most recent one that's up there. And yeah, in this day and age, with cost exploding and all of these things, you would want to be your most efficient, right? So if
Hmm.
you offered somebody an opportunity to find those efficiencies and
Right.
improve, it would be a no-brainer. So obviously that's what you're doing and hopefully getting that message across, right, Scott?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And having, partners like Nicholas and
Mhm.
others that are on the board, doing what they can for us and getting us in front of their clients or um, helping us spread that message because you know, I get the honor of being the champion for this along with the team here.
Yeah.
Um, but it's about the industry, it's about our certified contractors and certified glazers and that's it's I find it incredibly rewarding to know that we're helping people at the end of the day through this process.
Awesome, awesome. Getting ready to wrap up, but Nicholas, I feel like I'm leading the witness constantly because I'm so into this. But from your angle, how much better in a perfect world, everybody gets AGMT glazers, everybody's NACC. How much better is our industry? How much more can we take it? Because you guys probably see projects that you know that not not a lot of glazing companies could do. And
Right,
you wouldn't have
right.
a lot of confidence in it. What would it be like if we could get everybody on board here?
It's starting with the fact that that will put things at a more level playing field, if you will.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
the knowledge that the certification provides to the technician, yes, it may be the basic, but it still is, it gets us to a place where we can have a conversation that is more meaningful. There is better understanding on the arguments. Even if we're criticizing a specific application on the field, where we're doing a site visit or we're doing a shop visit, and we see something that is not in accordance with industry standards. We know that they know, or at least that they're certified and they should have that back knowledge. So it's the expectations are a little higher, yes, simply because we know what the program does for them or should do. And at the same time, there is that satisfaction that when we have a meaningful conversation that is truly beneficial for the product, for the
Yep.
project itself. So it does change the conversation. It changes how they perceive the consultant. That's one fun personal experience walking into a project where I get the stink eye from the subcontractor that sees me coming, thinking that here comes this. I'm not going to say the word
Yeah.
because of the setting, but they look at us as the enemy.
Hmm.
And in reality, what we're trying to do is just we're looking after our clients' interest, the project benefits. So having the ability to engage in a productive conversation, whether it's to provide positive feedback, reinforcing on what they're doing, or criticize in a constructive way what they didn't do right, it's different. I mean, the mindset, the simple fact that there is a technical background on that specific individual does change the whole conversation. So it's uh, there are expectations that the bar has been raised,
Yeah.
yes, but at the same time, you can see that there is truly an impact on the approach, on the demeanor of that individual. It's
No
there.
doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Well said. Very well said. Scott, I'll give you last word. What
Yeah.
else are we missing here
I
that we need to get out?
I think, the counter to what Nicholas just said, the world without certification and what that looks like and the opportunity cost there, um, it's we just this is trying to move things forward and it may not have been needed in the past, but let's get out of, well, this is just how we've always done it
Yeah.
um and look for ways to improve and grow your business better yourself as the individual glazer, um, because it's beyond, it's not just right here, right now. Let's think about that next generation
Yeah.
of glazers, and this should be that minimum acceptable standard for the industry to strive for.
For sure, for sure. I think you guys did a great job of explaining it. There's a lot there. I want to see it grow, obviously, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time. I've had Scott Kennett, Program Manager, NACC, AGMT, part of AMS, which is Administrative Management Systems. The website, very important, glazingcertification.com. And then Nicolas Esquivel, Senior Associate, Senior Consultant, Field Services Manager, Curtain Wall Design and Consultants. Their website, cdc-usa.com. Guys, I mean, you're doing the work for the industry, and I'm grateful for it, and I thank you for it, and keep it up, and I hope we can get back together after you took your trip to the Four Corners, Scott, and you went back to
Yep,
Scotland, and Nicholas, and we could talk about the success that we're having with this product here. So let's put that on the calendar to make that happen, guys. Thank you so much.
Looking forward
absolutely.
to it.
Thank you,
Thank you
Max.
again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey Glazers and Fabricators, FHC, the frameless hardware company, is here to support your business. In addition to offering a complete selection of glazing tools and supplies to get the job done right, we design, engineer, and manufacture a comprehensive offering of frameless shower door systems, heavy glass doors, aluminum entrances and storefronts, architectural railings, transaction and display hardware. Privately owned and American made, FHC prioritizes you, the customer. You now have a choice. Visit fhc-usa.com.
Okay. I'm thrilled to have a recurring guest and a really good guy, a good friend of mine, Pat O'Connor from the Glass and Metal Alliance. He's one of the best that Philly has and one of the best in our world. Pat, thank you so much for doing the podcast again.
Max, always good seeing you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. We're going to talk about the Glass Symposium, and it's a big piece. But I want to start first with the Glass and Metal Alliance. What is that? What do you all do there? And then we'll get into the specifics about the symposium coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Glass and Metal Alliance started a few years ago. We had something called the Architectural Glass Institute, and what we were really trying to do is between a joint venture between Glazers Local 252 and AGMA, which is our Signatory Contractors Association. Uh, we really wanted to educate the design world in the Philadelphia area, in the tri-state area, really, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, exactly what was in their backyard as it pertains to training. And that's
Right.
and
Right.
really what it boils down to is how much training is readily available for anyone, and how we can help integrate training as it pertains to what's the next job, like what are you looking to design, and this is exactly how we can help you make sure that once the boots are on the ground, everyone is fully qualified.
Yeah.
So once COVID happened,
Hmm.
that kind of, that FaceTime that we had was obviously it changed. So
Right.
we decided to go with the Glass and Metal Alliance, which stayed away. I don't want to say it stayed away from, but we're internally training at all times, and
Yeah.
our dynamic training is always one of the flagships of what we do. Is
Yes.
any glazing contractor can come to us and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. This is
Right.
this is the need of the industry, and how can you help us?" And we, in a cooperative effort, we make sure that the proper individuals are getting the proper training, and it's worked out well, especially in the last couple of years. The last year specifically, we've seen a lot of, as you know, the workforce, especially in something in the niche industry that is glazing and glass
Mhm.
and architectural metal. You know, how can we fulfill the office with experienced workers that know the industry? We're coming from a niche industry, so Glass and Metal Alliance through AGMA and Glazers 252, we've developed a couple of new classes that are available to all of our members in the last year. One is CAD drawing training to make sure that, you have these glazers that have 10, 15, 20, 25 years of experience. So why not bring that experience into the office?
Yeah.
We've also integrated foreman training, just letting them know like of the soft skills and making sure that you know how to handle a workforce, but also you know how to communicate with end users, you know how to communicate
Sure.
with general contractors. And then intro to estimating has been really a fantastic initiative that we've had. As you know, it's the subtle nuances, especially in our industry
Yeah.
with the lead times is ridiculous. So trying to find out exactly, what we can do to make sure that with the Glass and Metal Alliance, w what we're really looking to do is let everyone know like this is readily available in the Philadelphia area, in the New Jersey area, in the Delaware area. Like this is all at your fingertips. So just
Beautiful.
uplifting that is really been our primary focus.
And that's good. You're taking care of everybody in that tri-state area. That makes a lot of sense. And you guys came up with the Glass Symposium. I had you on the podcast a year ago, and we promoted it. And the first edition, from all indications, was a tremendous success. So congrats to you and the team there. And now it is back this year. And I really should, first give the website address for Glass and Metal Alliance just to see what they all do. It's glassandmetalalliance.com. Everything that Pat talked about's there. If you want to see what's going on with the symposium, you just add a slash symposium 2026, or there's a link on there, glassandmetalalliance.com slash symposium 2026, April 29th in Atlantic City. There's a lot of enthusiasm about it for this year, but let's first talk about last year. It had to blow your mind at how it just came together. What was your feeling after last year's?
We were really excited about last year, just going into it knowing that, especially with our relationship with AGMA and 252, just making the tent a little bigger and having those guests. We had dozens of guests on top of our staff, so well over 150 people were in attendance, and letting everyone know exactly like. And we talked about it last year. Like this is a flashpoint. Like
Yeah,
what we sat here and talked about in 2025. It's the landscape's already changed in
yeah,
2026. Like
completely.
exponentially, what we're seeing is changing. So it's like, how are we meeting that moment? How are we going to make sure that not only the glazing subcontractors in the area, but also the workforce are on top of all this? And
Yeah,
the only way that that can happen is if everyone's in the same room discussing, taking a breath, and discussing exactly what the forecast is in the immediate future and how we can address any needs as it comes to either the glazing subcontractor, the workforce, and also the design element as well, because we are going to have AIA classes this year. So
correct, correct. So you have architects involved, and a perfect opportunity for a lot of people. And so looking at 2026, last year when it happened, I didn't have an opportunity to go, and I said I won't miss it. I won't miss it in the
yeah.
future. You made sure I'm not going to miss it because you've got me involved in the program this year. Your promotion out of the gate, my friend, has been fantastic. You put my picture up there. I'm hearing from friends from college I haven't talked to in 30 years. They're like, "Hey, you're doing a keynote in Atlantic City." I'm like, "Yeah." So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But lots of energy and excitement for April 29th in Atlantic City for the symposium. It's not just for people obviously in the tri-state. If you want to come, see these presentations, and also a ton of vendors too. So a little rundown on what you got coming for this year.
Yeah, so we expanded our vendors as well, but we figured last year was great with Conley Oster. We also
Had Ted
we
Baumgartner. Yeah.
we had Teddy Baumgartner, yeah, and he did a fantastic job, and that launched him in our conversations over the last year. Is
Yeah.
like he's w allowing him that space and seeing him grow and seeing him meet those needs of the industry. That's exactly what the symposium was born out of seeing industry experts and sharp people like
Yeah.
Ted uh, really shine and have that conversation and spark that conversation. Be like, not even knowing the answers. That's what I love the most about
Yeah.
the people involved. It's like not that we have all the answers, but like we're going to ask these questions and let's figure this out together.
Yeah.
So we were taken aback with how well it went last year, and we're excited for this year as well to just keep growing it. Like we're expecting even more vendors. We already have more vendors, and we already have more attendees registered. So it's really going to be exciting.
Yeah, April 29th, no doubt it's exciting. And you know what? You were the first to have Ted. Now you can't talk to Ted unless you go through his booking agent. The guy is just The guy's
Yes,
just off the freaking charts now, you know. So
he
yeah,
is.
so and you're the one who put him on the rocket ship immediately or initially. So kudos to you. And so this year, what I like about what you've got going on is the networking aspect.
Yeah.
You've got the traditional kind of segments. I'm involved doing a forecast and also involved helping with a case study, which I think is going to be fantastic. You have LF Driscoll having somebody there. You have a certification angle there, which I'm a big believer in. But the cigar bar is something
Yeah.
that really attracts people. So talk about like the kind of the kinship that happens at the Glass and Metal symposium. People learn, but they also grow and they build their networks too.
Yeah. So going to, over the last few years, going to these expos, going to these different events across the country, they're all extremely engaging. But it's I don't want to call it a rush, but there's a lot of times where like you're going, you want to see multiple things
Yeah.
and learning like how are you processing that? Are you allowed to have those conversations in between the presentations? Like you don't want to make that decision of, all right, do I want to sit here and do I want to digest what I just heard, or there's something really exciting that I want to hear next.
Right.
So our team at Glass Metal Alliance, we really enjoyed, we really like those conversations, and our relationship between labor and management has grown to a fantastic space where we have these engaging conversations, but it's during those downtimes, it's during the bars, it's during the lunch hours, it's during the vendors where you can actually give each other that space to have meaningful conversations and then to pique the interest with engaging speakers. So the symposium, we're thinking like, have those couple of hours of fantastic speech like you, Max. I can't tell you how excited I am to have you in that space, and it's going to be a fantastic event, and it's a fantastic time for everyone involved. But when it comes to that cigar bar, is be able to sit out and look over the Atlantic Ocean after having the conversation with with the folks from United General that just spoke about the very interesting rooftop project that you guys are going to highlight in the panel discussion. Is We found that that was the best time last year. We found that vendors made their relationships with new contractors last year, with new customers last year. We found that that was the space that we really wanted to highlight, and we're trying to let that grow. And by finding that balance of extremely engaging speakers like yourself, but also those times that it's like you're not doing anything else other than talking to the people around you. So we felt that was really important.
No doubt. And I'm honored to be there, but you've lined up some good people. I just love the fact that, there is that kind of, planned networking sort of thing that people can get together and work together. Now, this is obviously the focus is on Philly, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Philly, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Atlantic City. Somebody from Boston, somebody from Chicago, they're more than welcome to come, correct? I mean, this is open to the universe for all intents.
Oh, absolutely. It's just so we don't have to travel as far for these engaging
Right.
conversations. That's what it is, which we've done in the past, like the New York ones, the Boston ones. We go to Chicago, we go to Florida, we go to Texas. Well, it's like, well, why don't we have one in our backyard?
Yeah.
And for the same reason that we can have people from all over the place can come and really enjoy themselves. And it's Atlantic City, so there's always something to do. There's some good food there. There's the opportunity to just stay at a hotel, to watch a show. Everything that you need is right there. So we're really excited about that. But it's definitely not the regional event like you're saying. It's open to everyone. It's not specific to this area. It is a glass industry event that we're looking forward to help people come into our backyard and just be good hosts and gracious hosts.
And a great opportunity to get to know Pat, who's a great guy, and who knows if you hang with him, you could be like Ted Baumgartner and be more popular now than guys on late night TV. So that would work out.
One of the blessings that I've had in my career is I've meet brilliant people like yourself and like Ted, and anything I can do to help, and that's what I really, when it comes to even my roots with Glazers Local 252, and we talked about it last year as
Hmm.
well, is when you see talented people and doing your best to make sure that they shine and uplift them any way possible, like that, it's not it doesn't have to be cutthroat like so many parts of this industry and other industries are.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, this individual is brilliant, and how can I help them? How can I help them share that with other people?
That's
So
huge. Yeah, no, you're dead on. That's how you are. That's why so many people like and respect you, and I do. And I'm excited about this. glassandmetalalliance.com/symposium 2026. It is April 29th in Atlantic City. Get there the night before, come on in, spend the day. It's going to be incredible. Any last comments, Pat, other than just get registered and get there?
yeah, get registered, get there. We're really looking forward to having those conversations of, especially with people saying like, this is my need, and how can we make this happen, especially right now in the very muddled future, what that is, both in technology and in what our projects look like
Yeah.
in the immediate future, is like, what does it look like, and how can we meet this moment? So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at the event, and anything I can do, they feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and just note again, there is still room for more sponsors, more vendors, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Yes.
already have a heck of a list. When you sent me the list, I was very impressed. There's already, some of the best will be there. If you're a vendor, you want to get in front of this crowd, which is strong, and we're talking glazers, but also architects coming from New Jersey. Well worth it. Go to that glassandmetalalliance.com/Glass Symposium 2026. And Pat, thank you so much. I'll see you in a month, or actually less than a month. When this comes out, I'll see you in a couple weeks, and can't wait. Can't wait. Thank you
Yeah.
again.
Thank you so much, Max. I appreciate your time as always.
You bet. See you soon. Thank you. Okay. Kicking it off this time, I've got Abbie Legara, CEO, Aluminum and Glazing Lines. You can find them online at www.agl-usa.com. Abbie, thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thrilled to have you. Have been a fan, and I look forward to getting to know you a little bit better. And that's where we'll start. I'd
hmm
love to know where you're born, grew up, went to school. The whole origin story, the journey till today. Give me the background, please. I'd love to hear more about your past, Abbie.
Of course. So I was born and raised in the Philippines, Manila, the capital,
Okay.
but I actually grew up half in the city and half in a small farming town in the southern Philippines, called Mindanao. So
Okay.
I had both worlds growing up, which I think shaped how I see things today.
Sure.
Nothing too extraordinary at the start. I originally thought I'd go into the medical field or public service or education law, like most of my family is in
Right.
that profession. But somehow I ended up taking architecture in college. I've always been fascinated by how things are built and designed. So in college, I pursued architecture in the Philippines.
Okay.
And you may have heard it because a lot of people in this industry, I kind of just got pulled into glass and glazing without,
Yep.
without really knowing what it was. And I fast forward 20 plus years, I never left. I've been fortunate to work with some incredible people around the world. This industry has taken me places I never imagined, from the Middle East to Asia, and now here in the United States. And at some point, I started focusing on drafting and support services. And
Gotcha.
that's really where things clicked for me. I know
Nice.
that behind every successful project is a strong technical team, making sure that everything actually works, not just on paper, but
Right.
in the field, because that was a big realization for me, that good drawings, they don't just document a design. They prevent problems, save money,
Hmm.
and keep projects moving. So that eventually led me to start aluminum and glazing lines. It's been an incredible journey from a small team now supporting major projects in across the US and even overseas. So it's been a good ride.
That's awesome. And we're going to talk about the company in a second, but I have to say, you're another example of once you get in this industry, you do not get out. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I
I
would say, yeah, I
I
agree
love it.
with you there.
I love it. And so you have that architectural background and then you have the skill set to do what you're doing. And let's talk about aluminum and glazing lines. You mentioned, I love the fact that you said every great project has to have that foundation behind it.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's what you guys, are geared up for. But, give me the rundown. What do you specialize in? When somebody, hits agl-usa.com, what are they going to find and who are they going to find?
All right. At aluminum and glazing lines, our
Hmm.
main goal is really to support our clients, who are primarily glazing contractors.
Right.
So we partner with them to handle their shop drawings, fabrication drawings, BIM modeling, Revit and Inventor, materials takeoff, basically anything that helps them execute their projects successfully. So what we really focus on is getting involved early. That the earlier we're brought in, the more we can help detect potential issues, like raise red flags and solve problems before they show up on site, because that's where mistakes get expensive and impact schedules. We've worked on at aluminum and glazing lines, and our team specifically, we've worked on pretty much every facade system out there: curtain walls, window walls, storefronts, canopies, glass walls, glass walks, you name it.
Sure.
We've probably touched it. And we've also helped design system profiles for clients, which is something we're really proud of because it goes beyond drafting. It becomes part of the product itself. So we're really proud of that.
Awesome. As you should be, as you should be. And so I've got Abbie Legara with me, CEO of Aluminum Glazing Lines, and check them out, agl-usa.com. And I just think, again, you really hit me with the support aspect. I think that's really, really crucial. So a couple decades in this business, a couple decades in this industry that you are, what do you think's the biggest thing that has changed since you started? I mean, is it tech? Is it speed? Is it people? I mean, what do you think the biggest thing has changed in your last 20 years of running around our world?
Oh, technology has definitely transformed the industry. Everything from 3D modeling and BIM to digital fabrication. It has made things more precise and more efficient. But honestly, and I know you agree with me on this one. The biggest shift I've seen is in collaboration and communication.
Yep.
Technology has enabled that, but the way teams work together has really changed. So when I started, without revealing my age, I was literally receiving shop drawing comments through fax machines, if you remember those
I remember. I
big
lived it. Yep.
bulky items. And you can imagine how the paper trail, the literal paper trail that came with that. Now everything is instant: emails, shared files, cloud platforms.
Yeah.
So even communication tools have evolved. So I used Skype for years working with overseas
That's
teams.
right. That's right.
If anyone remembers
You're,
Skype.
you're ahead of the game. Skype, a lot of people don't even know Skype existed. They don't even know what Skype is.
Yes,
And it was
it's
the thing. It was the platform.
yes, exactly. But some countries, I well, when Skype started, some countries banned it for some reason.
I did
But
not know that. Yeah.
and now we have Zoom and Microsoft Teams, which
Yeah.
really changed how collaboration works. But Max, that said, I still believe in the value of in-person
Yeah.
collaboration.
Yeah.
There's something about being in the same room that you just can't fully replace. Overall, with technology, overall, the projects today are much more integrated, and architects are pushing the envelope more than ever. And that
Sure.
means everyone involved, us glazers, have to be more adaptable, and we need to be constantly learning.
Sure, sure, and it again, the collaboration effort only helps architects get more intense, and
Yes,
more into it. And I'm laughing over the fax thing because I'm a lot older than you, and so when fax came into my world, it was the thermal paper that would roll up,
yeah.
and but the thing about the thermal paper is after maybe a month,
Yes,
the writing and the print would go
it
away.
melts.
You
Yes,
want so I
yes.
mean, you probably having to deal with, keeping a paper trail. That paper trail disappears when it was on the thermal paper.
Yes, yes, yes. And after a few months, the inks go away.
Yep. Yep. And see, I was a fabricator, and I'll never forget that, we would, we'd get the order in via the thermal paper on the fax. We would produce it, and maybe a month or two later, somebody would call and say, "Hey, this was wrong." And, we would need to go compare, what we put in order entry to the order that came over the fax. And you'd go pull it and be like, I can't tell what it was. It's
Yes, I
gone.
can't see anymore.
So I guess you're right because we can't prove you wrong. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different world, a different world. And on that technology angle, AI, how deep are you into it? It's funny. The last stat I saw is 59% of architects are really, really heavy into AI, and
Mm,
that's heavy.
mm,
I think everybody dabbles. But what about you? How deep are you into it? You like it? Don't like it? Nervous? Happy? What's your feel on
hmm.
the whole AI side?
On the AI, I'm
Mhm.
really excited about AI and what it can do, honestly. But from a work perspective, I see it helping with things like design assistance, maybe minor checking with drawings, and I think more on automating repetitive tasks and helping analyze. I think even helping analyze project risk earlier, like on the fabrication side and on the schedule side.
Sure.
It frees up our team to spend less time on manual work and more time to think analytically and strategically. On a personal level, I think it's like having an assistant 24/7 that will help you move quicker and be more efficient. But of course, there's always a bit of nervousness with any powerful technology. We want to make sure that it's used responsibly and that it actually adds value and not replace human critical thinking.
Right.
You,
Right.
you, you still have to check what it spits out. Um, Overall, Max, I think it's a tool. And if used right, it can really elevate how we work. I call it a tool because I think of it as an expensive pencil. So
I like that explanation.
yeah,
It is
that's
a,
mine.
I like it. It is a tool though, and I think it all to me depends on how you utilize it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you how you put it into play, and I like, folks like you are figuring it out the right way. You're just not throwing it up against the wall.
Yes. You have to analyze what it spits out, not just, use whatever it spits out and that's it, holy
Right.
grail. No, there has to be some human critical thinking in place there.
Huge, huge. I've got Abbie Legara with me, CEO of Aluminum and Glazing Lines. Find them online at agl-usa.com. About halfway through the podcast, I always ask a fun question for you and went a little bit different, and I'm very, very curious. You can pick two people. They could be dead, alive, fictional, like if you wanted Superman or Wonder Woman, that you could meet with and have their attention for an hour. Who would they be and why? So, who would be the two individuals or two, people, whatever, that Abbie wants to sit down with and have their attention for an hour?
Ah,
Curious.
this is a fun one.
Yeah. That was the goal, to make it fun.
Yes.
And I love the answers when I ask these questions, just because I'm always intrigued, always intrigued. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so when I first moved to the United States, I actually lived in West Des Moines, Iowa, before settling in Dallas, Texas, where I'm at right now. And some of the projects that I have worked on are somehow connected one way or another to this gentleman living in Omaha, Nebraska. His name is Warren Buffett.
There you go. Okay.
I think the more I worked on his projects, the more I learned about him, his discipline, long-term thinking, even the simplicity part, the more I respected how this guy operates. I think it would be amazing to spend an hour with him, honestly, even just over a McDonald's meal and just listen.
Yeah. I know. Before you tell me your second person, I don't know if I had the chance with him, I don't know if I could spit out anything coherent.
Yeah, me too.
I just would be, I mean, because first of all, there's so much you could ask him,
Yes,
and your mind would be just kind of racing. So I
yes,
think if I
yes,
had that
yes.
opportunity, I really don't know how I'd handle it. That'd be a struggle. So, but I love the thought. It makes a lot of sense there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Hit me up with your second person. Who's number two?
Number two,
Yeah.
my second would be the late, great Zaha Hadid.
Oh yeah.
She's one of the most brilliant architects and someone who really pushed the limits of our industry. Um,
Yes.
so
Yes.
a little
Yeah.
backstory. Early in my career, I had the opportunity to work on one of her work in Dubai. It's originally called the Void, but now it's called the Opus. The design was inspired by a melting ice cube with this incredible free-form void in the middle connecting two towers. So it was conceptualized in 2005, 2006, and I think it was completed 2012. But I still see it in Architectural Digest. Recently, it was there. It's a very beautiful building. So when we were working on it at the time, the glass requirements, like those oversized curved units at the void area,
Hmm.
these were things that the industry had not really done before.
Nope.
I
Nope.
mean, it's yes, right?
Hmm.
And my team then, we were involved in testing and figuring out how to make those systems work. So that experience really showed me how a visionary design can push the entire industry forward. I think Zaha Hadid's work didn't just create beautiful buildings, but it forced us glaziers to innovate.
Yeah. No, no doubt.
And
Go ahead.
uh-huh,
Go ahead. Continue your thoughts. Sorry.
nothing. I just love to hear how she thought through those ideas.
Yeah, I mean that would be fun. And also, can you imagine if she was around today with the where the technology is? I mean, she created and designed and just dreamt
Yes.
unbelievable things that, like you said, we couldn't do and we had to figure out how to do. Now we could do a lot of these things. I can't imagine what she could come up with
Yeah.
nowadays. Totally, that's a great one. A brilliant talent gone too soon. And
Yeah.
you had two good picks, Abby. I like that. I like that. Definitely, definitely too. And hopefully you and Warren Buffett can have a Big Mac together here one of these days. You
Oh
know,
my God.
yeah.
That's
If it
great.
happens, I want to know. I want to
Oh
know.
yeah,
So.
I'll let you in on it if I could think coherently.
Anything's exactly anything's possible. A couple more questions for you. I know you're real busy. Just curious on this one. BEC
Mm,
it just happened in Louisville, Kentucky. You were there. You always attend these events, which I am grateful for because you know me as an industry person. I make note of the faces that I see, and I'm very grateful when I see the same ones over and over again. What did you think? How was the conference? Any lessons or takeaways that you came back to the office and said, "Hey, this was good," and
hmm
sort of thing. What was your feeling after it?
mm. BEC conference was fantastic. It's definitely one of the highlights of the year. But from a leadership standpoint, it's incredibly valuable. It's not just about seeing new products or technologies, but it is really understanding where the industry is heading.
Yeah,
It's also a great opportunity to connect, whether that's with vendors, clients, or peers. And in many ways, it does feel like a yearly reunion in the industry, you know?
yep, no doubt, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I,
One
I
of
mean,
my
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
sorry, one of my biggest takeaways this year was around succession planning and building the next generation of leadership.
Yep,
I think as a growing company, that really resonated with me. We started as a small team of about eight. I'm the eighth person, and now we're close to 40, and that's on the production side alone.
it's great.
At that stage, just you have to start thinking beyond the day-to-day operations
Yeah, you
and
do.
focus on sustainability, how the business continues to run and grow even without my constant involvement. Um, and fortunately, that's something we really started working on early when we were still around 10, 15, 20, and it's made a significant difference. I think it's allowed us to build a stronger structure and empower our team, which is at the end of the day is the goal. So BEC reinforces those kinds of conversations. I think hearing directly from your peers about their challenges, strategies, and innovations is incredibly valuable, especially when you're making decisions not just for today, but for the long-term direction of the company.
Yeah, you nailed it. I appreciate that. It was, I thought it was a great show, and I do. I love the family reunion thing, and I look at it as BEC is like my immediate family reunion, and Glass Build is like all my cousins and
Ah,
second cousins, third cousins, you name it, and so I have one chance in the spring to see a lot of different people, and then another chance in the fall, and I get a kick out of both, but I love what you had to say. I did think that the generational succession aspect, it resonated with a lot of people. I
Yeah.
think it really hit, and that panel was great. The panel was
Mm-hmm.
great,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny. One of the people on the panel, Emily Yukish, very very talented female leader. You're a very talented female leader. I have to ask though, woman leading company, it obviously wasn't easy. It never is because I think women sometimes have to, pedal two times as fast, even though that's not fair. But how has it been climbing the ranks to CEO? And any words of wisdom that you could put out there for other folks that are climbing the ladder like you did?
Oh, gosh, my advice would be to be confident in your expertise and don't be afraid to step into challenging roles. Think of it as a fun exercise. I try to put the fun aspect to it so it makes it enjoyable. Um, I would say number two, find great mentors. Max, I've been very fortunate to have great mentors throughout my career, some of them amazing women, and that guidance makes a big difference.
No doubt, no doubt. Any others? Any other thoughts before I? Yeah, because
Number
go.
three,
Yeah, go ahead.
number three, I would say we just talked about BEC. I would say build relationships.
Yeah,
This industry is very, very relationship driven.
yeah.
And I think lastly, most importantly, women need to advocate for themselves. We need to advocate for ourselves. Our voice matters,
Yep.
our perspective matters, and we bring value to the table.
You do, and I think we're nowhere where we should be yet. But I think if you look back at your 20 years, we're really far from those days. But
Yeah.
we got a long way to go. I mean, I always
Mm-hmm.
think about my first Ghana meeting, which was now combined with NGA. Years and years and years ago, there were two women in the room. One of them
Mm,
was Julie
mm,
Schimmelpenny, from Eastman, but there are two women in the room, and so
mm.
we have come a ways. We still got a ways to go, but I admire what you do. This is and I love your advice. The mentorship is huge. I think that's
Yeah.
underrated. I think people don't
Mm.
realize how important it really is to have.
Yeah, it is. Well, we have a woman CEO at NGA now, right?
Yes, we do. Well, we had Nicole Harris. Now we have Lakeisha
Mm-hmm.
Woods,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Another woman.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been fortunate with that, but we got to keep getting better, and so people like you will
Mm-hmm.
keep waving the flag. I like it. I like
Mm-hmm.
it.
Correct, correct.
One more question for Abbie Legara, CEO of Aluminum and Glazing Lines. Find them online at agl-usa.com. So, from your world, from your view, how's the overall market looking? You are in a different spot than your customers are. Obviously, you see
Mm-hmm.
things maybe a little bit further in advance than people do. I know, from my opinion, parts of the country are pretty soft. Some are doing okay. Some are doing
Mm-hmm.
good. What's your feel? What's the overall
Hmm.
market looking like to Abbie?
Uh, without going too political, right now, huh?
Go for it. Go for it. You know me. I'll get in trouble somewhere along the line. But go ahead. You be smart. You're a smarter person than I am. That's for sure. Go for it.
Okay. Right now, obviously, the market feels a bit uncertain. I can
Yep.
say that.
Yes.
Um, and I'm not sure if you agree with me, but there's a lot of shifting rules, timelines, expectation, even diplomacy and international relations.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like there's no clear playbook anymore.
Nope.
So people are definitely cautious, but at the same time, I'd like to think of it that there's still a lot of opportunity. I'd like to focus on things I can control.
Yep.
Regardless of the market conditions, companies that focus on quality, innovation, and really taking care of their clients, they're the ones that will continue to do well. At the end of the day, Max, prioritizing your client and delivering consistently, that's what keeps you moving forward, I guess, regardless of the market conditions.
Great advice. Great advice. And uncertainty is it. And I've been saying before, this last year kind of hit and really, turned things upside down, was that COVID killed conventional wisdom. you always knew what was going on, and then COVID, every rule changed. Every rule was either erased or hard to understand. And now
Yeah.
we took that and we put all that into a blender, and it's just you have no idea when you pour that milkshake what it's going to taste like. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an adventure. But I think you nailed it, and I love the advice that you gave there. So very, very cool, very, very cool. Well, I appreciate your time. I love getting to know you a little bit better. I've had Abbie Legara, CEO, Aluminum and Glazing Lines. AGL-USA.com is their website. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing the podcast. Look forward to seeing you at Glassfield if you can sneak out to Vegas. If not,
Of
for sure,
course.
I'll see you in San Diego for BEC next year. But thank you so much for doing the pod.
Thanks, Max. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Continue good fortune to you and the team there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to the guests today, Scott and Nicholas from AMS, Nicholas from CDC, Pat O'Connor talking about the Glass Symposium, and the last guest there, Abbie Legara from Aluminum and Glazing Lines. Great people. Hope you really, really enjoyed that. No TV talk for you this week. My mind's blank. I got nothing. So next time out, I'll have to hit you up with stuff. But right now, just catching up on stuff I've already talked to you about. So I don't have anything new. Last, again, to wrap things up, thank you to the gang at FHC. Check them out at fhc-usa.com. Lots of new stuff happening all the time. And so if you looked at it a couple of months ago or a couple of weeks ago, things are changing, and you now have a choice with FHC, fhc-usa.com. That wraps up things for today. Got a really loaded and packed schedule these next few months, filling in very nicely. I think you're going to enjoy it. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, the music is stopped.